What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Monet and we are locked in. This is Power Book 2, Episode 3. The big thing that's on the table now is Carrie is the prime suspect for Jabari's murder. We know Tariq told Detective Kevin, I don't know anything. I know Carrie and Jabari had an argument. That's because Kane and Tariq, they committed this murder. And we also know that Davis is trying to represent Carrie. I have my little theory breakdown on them too. You can go back and watch that video. Link will be in the description. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you'll be a part of it. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button. It's the easiest thing you can do. Moving forward, we know Tariq needs Councilman Tate to help get his sister out of the Child Protective Services, and he's going to do anything he can to make this happen. So let's see what our boy Tariq has in store for us this week. And this is Power Book 2, Episode 3. We start the episode off and we over at the Barclay building, and guess what? The Tate brothers are in here. Councilman Tate, we know his brother is a police officer and he's actually going to be a lead investigator for the DA's office. So they're celebrating this. And of course, Tariq shows up because, as I mentioned in the intro, he needs to talk to Tate about getting his help to get his sister out of the service, out of the system. So when he gets in here, Tate doesn't want to be dealing with him. He's like, what are you doing, Tariq? You can't just pop up at these events. And he's like, I need your help, Tate. He says, you know what? We can make something happen. You said you know the Westons. And that, of course, is Brayden Weston. Tate is trying to get this information on Sweeney. And we know that Sweeney shot at Tariq. So these two, they're going to be able to work together on this because it'll benefit both of them. Tate to get his Congress seat. Tariq can get his sister back. It's time for the meetup. Kane has a new connect. He's back in the family. Tariq's working for Monet. Their stuff was stepped on, aka it was actually finesse. Now she has both of them meeting up. We know that she has to go through Kane to get the new work from Mecca. She doesn't know it's coming from Mecca. She just knows that he has a new connect. Tariq has to get the product from her. So what she's telling them to is, you both squash this nonsense beef that you have so we can make some money. Kane, Tariq, they agree on it. They still have this murder on they, on their belt. So after she leaves, Kane's like, I need that money up front. So she's like, what? You don't trust me now? So she doesn't even get a chance to leave. She got to pay him. Now, when she pulls off, Tariq and Kane, they start talking about what's going on. And Kane tells him, if this body comes back on me and it's not on that teacher like you said, I'm going to come after you. I know Tariq's like, man, if they coming after you, you ain't going to have time to get to me. But okay, Kane, I got you, bro. I know we all joke around about Tariq running back and forth through the city. Well, they threw that in on the show. He's sitting there. Monet drove off in a G-Wagon. Kane hops in a Range Rover. He talking about, man, all the work I do for this family, they won't even offer me a ride. Like, they out by the harbor. Tariq, this is a long walk from you unless you got an Uber or something. Kane shows up to Mecca's house because at this point, hey, this is who he's rocking with. We got the new connect. Mecca's showing us the game. Why not pull up on him? When we get there, we see a gentleman named Nuff. He's outside blindfolded with a butcher knife. He's swinging it. And they're looking around like, this is the kind of party that Mecca throws. And inside of it is drugs. Once he cuts the pig open, everybody gets drugs. Once they go in the house, he introduces Kane to Nuff. And he tells him, this is the guy that's going to help me expand the organization. They're like, okay, cool. So he's telling them, Nuff, here's Kane. Y'all party up a little bit. Enjoy. Mecca walks off and he tells Kane straight up, mi casa is su casa. Whatever you see here, you can do. Now, Nuff, he's asking Kane, how does he know Mecca? He's like, oh, he used to run the streets when my boy Guap's dad did. And then Nuff almost slips up and he says, oh, so you knew him before he went to Kuwait. But right when he says this, the chef is like, hey, ladies, come get him. Because it sounds like he's trying to get Nuff to stop talking. Maybe Mecca wasn't in jail. He was actually in the military and he was just deployed. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Mecca, he goes off. He's walking around doing his thing. Looks like the chef is actually looking out for him. Nuff is sitting down and he's talking to Kane and he starts, they got little girls on him, but he starts running his mouth. That's what the liquors and drugs do to you. And he starts talking about Mecca. Oh man, he likes some chick. And Mecca hears this. He goes over there and chokes him out. Now he either heard this or the chef had warned him, hey man, Nuff is running his mouth about you. And it seems like they're covering up something. But he chokes Nuff out and he tells Kane, it's a difference between business and Family business. He chokes him out. So Kane's looking at it. Man, this is some weird stuff going on. Good old Detective Kevin. We seen he's in charge of the Jabari case. Also, he may have had a fling or something with Carrie back in the day. Well, once he found out that she's having sex with a young gentleman by the name of Ezekiel, he just lost it. You know what? I'm going to bring you down, Carrie. I'm going to bring you down, girl. Because your alibi ain't adding up. And if it does, I'm telling that you had sex with a student. While Detective Kevin is setting up everything that he has, he's putting together his little board. He's trying to connect the dots. He looks over and the cell phone is ringing. And it's a call from Carrie. Look at this face. Whenever you see this face on our boy Zeke, you know it's about to be trouble. Well, Detective has him in here. He picked him up at the end of last week's episode. And he's been sitting in here. And he's asking him about school and what sport does he play. He's pretty much downplaying the celebrity of him and tells him, oh, you play basketball? I don't keep up with sports. Now, do you know Jabari? And at this point, this is where he starts shaking and fidgeting. He was like, no. My advisor was Carrie. Caridad Milgram. Carrie, huh? So he's catching him up because he's seen Zeke come out of the house. Zeke's dumb butt's talking about, can I get a phone call or something? But he's doing exactly what cops do. No, we're going to make this calm. You declared for the draft. How would the media take it if they heard you were in here for a couple hours talking to the police? All you got to do is cooperate. He's about to cooperate. He's about to tell everything. Oh, yeah, I was messing with a teacher, but my cousins, they sell drugs. Come on, Zeke. Kane ended up staying the night at Mecca's house. I'm talking about we had a long night last night. I'm talking about drinks, women. Oh, man, we had everything. I went home. I wasn't staying the night at Mecca's spot. Now, when he wakes up, he's walking around and he hears Mecca in there actually working out. And, you know, the motto is play hard, but work harder. So they're in there talking about everything that went on and what's going forward with the organization. Now, Mecca's saying, I heard Guap said that Monet took all your work off the street. And this is where Kane starts to kind of explain her organization. Yes, she did that. She wants us to put all the work through Tariq. Now, Mecca wants to know, who is this plug? Who is the person that they're running drugs through? And at this point, he's looking at Kane. He's saying, oh, you don't trust me now? I don't work with people that don't trust me. So pretty much an ultimatum. Either you tell me who Monet is sending the drugs through or get up out of here. Kane ended up folding because he seen Nuff getting choked out last night. So after you seen a man get choked out, it's just you two. You're going to say what he wants you to say. So he tells him Tariq St. Patrick. And now Mecca, he's on Tariq's case. Tariq talked to Tate and Tate set up a 15-minute meeting with child services. When he gets down there, he's talking to a lady named Camille. And what she's saying is, you know, that power and influence that Tate has, it'll get you this meeting, but tell me what you need. So Tariq is explaining what's the best ideal situation for his sister to get out of the services and come stay with him. He's in school though, and she's saying you'll need a place to stay, a steady income, a clean record. He's like, I can do all that. She said, Tariq, you could barely get a meeting with me by yourself, let alone be able to hold all that down. Now, he could do it. I mean, it'd be tough, especially putting his sister in harm's way because of all the stuff he's doing in the streets. But she's saying the family that has Yasmin, they're a good family, and we're just going to keep her there. You can trust me with this one. Kevin is on Zeke. Zeke talking about, all right, man, if I can leave, if you saying I'm not on arrest, then let me go. But you have my wallet and my phone and stuff. He's like, oh, yeah, your phone, it's been ringing off the hook. He's like, oh, it's probably my aunt. It's Carrie. It's Carrie. We just seen it was Carrie. And he's saying, I don't care what you and Carrie do. I mean, she'll get fired from school, but you're adults and you need to cooperate with me. So Zeke's in a situation where I can get Carrie fired, or I can hold it down and cooperate. Shit, Carrie, it was a good job you had, but you getting fired. We know Tate. He's the new teacher, the new professor out here. He took Jabari's spot. And every time he gets up there, he's always trying to act like he's on a campaign speech. You know, if I was to come in here and eliminate student debt, Carrie, she's not trying to hear all that. We want to know about the greater good and how do people really act off of their morals. Now, they go into slavery and they saying that was for the greater good of the white folk, the many, but it wasn't for the greater good of the blacks. Now, everyone's having their own little sidebars, their, little conversations and things. But what they really want you to think about is doing something wrong really right? Sometimes you got to be a little crooked to make things happen. That's really what the conversation is about. Now, we hear Tariq talk about it, and we see Tate actually agree with it. And if you know about both of these two, they working together, and they both will do whatever they can to get what they got. So how you like that, Miss Mildred? Hey, come look at this. They got Zeke in here, and he about to fold. Zeke in here. They're going over the same questions over and over. How do you know Carrie? Did you have a relationship with her? Were you there with her the night of the murder of Jabari? And Zeke, he's freezing up. He's like, Now, what Detective Kevin starts to do is play mind tricks on him. He said, I used to work with her. She's a very generous woman, meaning she used to hand them draws over to Detective Kevin. And he's like, yeah, you know what? She got Jabari killed because he found out about you too. Zeke's like, no. She's older than me. I didn't mess with her. He said, okay, were you there the night of the murder? And I'm thinking he's about to say, yeah, I was, to make that alibi solid for her. But what did I tell you? He said, nope, I was not there. And Carrie ends up calling him. And he's like, well, you need to tell me the truth then, because Carrie, is she telling you to lie for her? Is that why she's calling? So Zeke, he actually held it down and said he wasn't there. So now she doesn't get fired from work. But he's also going to be thinking in the back of his mind, did she really mess with Jabari while she was messing with me? Or is Detective Kevin just messing around because she's not that type of woman? Tariq goes and talks to Tate about the meeting that he had with child services. And he says they pretty much blew him off because he's a 19-year-old. He doesn't have a job. He's in school. And Tate's saying, yeah, well, you're young, so it's going to be hard for that. At this point, Tariq at least just wants an address or something so he can stay in communication with his sister. We also know that Tate needs this information on Sweeney. And he's saying, I know he was a closet freak. I need evidence. I need proof. So what he's really asking Tariq is go over there, talk to Brayden, get in good with his brother, go to the frat house, see if there's anything in there. Is there any secrets that are hidden in the closet that we can bring out so he can get this spot? And Tariq is like, all right, I can do it. Everyone's been waiting on Tariq and Lauren to hook up and do whatever it is they're going to do. Now, we know his phone always goes off and she's apologizing for last night. Tariq, I'm so sorry I boated off. And thank you for helping me out in class. And Tariq is like, yeah, my bad. Stuff always comes up. And what happens? His phone starts ringing again. Take that phone off of vibrate and put it on silent. I never have my phone on anything but silent. Hey, if you need me, text me. Call me, I'll hit you back. Phone rings, she walks off. You remember Tariq's business partner, the one that helped set up Course Correct to get everything up and running? Well, Tariq calls him, and the reason he calls is because he needs a steady paycheck so he can show child services that I have money coming in. And he's telling them, Tariq, we can do that. We just have to set up a fake business. You got to get somebody you trust to be the president, though. And the reason Tariq can't be the president is because if his name is the one signing the checks to himself, he'll get audited. And then child services is going to look at it also like, how are you writing checks to yourself? Anyway, $30,000 startup, and we're going to make it happen. Tariq and Brayden, they're pulling up to meet with Kane to get the drop. Now, Kane, he's not really feeling either one of them just because he doesn't have any control over it. This is exactly what he was telling Mecca. He doesn't know what's going on up at the school, and it's also making it look like Monet trusts them more than she trusts her own son because he can't put the work out in the street. Now, Brayden, he did end up spending the evening with Kane, living that life. He did get whooped on. That's it is what it is. But Kane is telling him, I can't wait for y'all to mess this up. And Tariq saying, we're not going to mess it up. But what he wants them to do is mess up. So Monet will see, hey, Kane, I really need your help. Move my product again. They're going to have to settle these differences if we're going to make it in this game. Now, you remember the spot on the roof, and I told you Tariq is probably going to use this as a place to stash the drugs. Well, guess what? This is exactly what Brayden did. They actually put a little barcode up there where you can scan your phone. So whenever you put in the order on Course Correct, you go upstairs and they changed out the whole brick to pretty much like Amazon and UPS lockers. You go up there, scan your phone, your drugs are in there. You leave the money. So this is a very, very legit way for them to be able to get the drugs out without having themselves do hand-to-hand transactions. So you start seeing everybody around campus, bling, they just going up there. Hey, easy deposits. Mecca has Kane meet up with him. You remember he offered to help him get control of this St. Patrick kid. And he's saying the way you do this is you get at Brayden. If you can get Brayden in your pocket, then that's the easiest way to make Tariq potentially flip or start doing everything that you're saying, because Brayden is his soft spot. Brayden is the one actually doing all the work on campus. Tariq is just meeting the people. Brayden is making it happen. So Mecca is telling them, Kane, you need to start being cool with Brayden and get him on your side a little bit. Monet looking up Dante Spears, aka Mecca. I'm gonna try to read what I can. Dante Spears, owner D Spears International. I think it says trading. D Spears International Trading, over 20 years experience going to Asia, Africa, South America, our imports and exports, customized. So he's an international trader. I don't know if this is a front for the drugs he's moving, or you remember his young associate said, oh, he went off to Kuwait. So maybe he was just gone for business and he's acting like he's a big time dope dealer. Who knows? We gonna find out though. Maybe it could be a front for the whole organization. We seen Monet meet up with Dante, so now she's starting to get those feelings. Also, when she was in the jail with Lorenzo for their anniversary, she wasn't really feeling them. Now Diana just comes in and says, hey, does dad know that Kane is back? And Monet starts tripping out. Why y'all keep asking me about daddy? If you want to talk to daddy, go ask daddy. I'm like, Ma, I'm just asking, does he know that Kane's back? So she hands Diana a box, like, go take this to your dad. So she's upset and she's starting to be distant from Lorenzo. And this is all because Dante is back. Tate comes in. He's trying to get at Carrie. And he's like, what's the Wi-Fi password? She's like, it's on your wall. And he's saying, all right, did I do anything to offend you? Because I just feel like if we had some time alone, then you would come on to my charm. But in comes detective. And you know how he is. As soon as he gets done with Zeke, he's heading over there. I got to go talk to Carrie. He's talking about your alibi ain't adding up. Zeke's over at the police department. He's down there right now answering questions. And he said you wasn't there. So now you really look like a suspect. Now we know that they had a past, and Kevin even brings it up. My bad, detective brings it up. And he says, I know what you can do to me and I know how you are. Tate, he left. He's in the next room and he's listening through the wall. So Carrie is a prime suspect for the Jabari murder and she's messing around with a student. It's about to get real messy on this campus, people. Diana does exactly what Monet says. She goes to see her dad because she wants to ask these questions directly. Now, I didn't have the captions on and they started speaking Spanish. So I was like, man, let me go back and rewatch this. But pretty much what they're talking about is, Monet is tripping, Dad. I really don't know what's going on in the house. And he's saying, you got to stay strong. It's going to be like that sometimes. We're family and we got to get through these little down tough moments. We just got to stick together. And for Diana, it's tough for her because we know she wants to go to school. She wants to actually do things outside the house. But Monet is restricting her from this. And he knows, Lorenzo knows how Monet is because she was like this with Kane and how she was trying to control him. And he's just telling Diana, hey, stick in there. Everything is going to be all right. And we're going to make it through. No sooner than we hear Lorenzo telling his daughter, we got to stick to it. Family, we all we got. Monet is meeting up with who else? Dante. And he got the turtleneck on. He done rented out the whole, I'm talking about everything. He got all of the waiters and waitresses coming straight to him. The restaurant is his for the day. Now she's saying your import-export business is doing pretty good. He also did his research on her. And he said that her name used to be Nene Stewart. And he found out that she was married. And now she's a Tejada. And she's saying, I have kids now. My life is different. And he's telling her straight up, this isn't the life you imagine. But I'm glad you called me and hit me up. Now, I told you when they were in the room and she was looking him up, she's losing interest in Lorenzo because he's locked up. He can't do nothing in there. He still got 15 more years. But Dante, he out here, he driving Range Rovers. He clean, he pulling up. She's like, oh, this is a new opportunity here. Plus, we know she's trying to get out the dope game. So if this import and export is doing that good, y'all ain't got to sell no dope. Dante will take care of you, Drew, and Diana. And I guess Kane. The girl that was in the bed with Zeke when Detective Kevin came and picked him up, she's talking about, I'm gonna sell this story. Turns out she was only sleeping with him not because he was a basketball player, but the story she could get. That's why she was asking, which team are you going to? What are you trying to do? And Lauren's over here like, we can't sell that. Homegirl said, look, fuck what you talking about. He ain't did nothing. We good. Now Lauren's sitting there and they about to smoke a little bit of weed. And she talking about we about to smoke some Lizzos. If you don't know, that's a fat blunt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't call Lizzo fat. I said the blunt is fat. And then I'm just going off of what's in the show. But she's basically saying, Lauren, you tripping off of Tariq because we know Tariq is the tutor to Zeke. And they're saying, man, forget Tariq. You know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about no real women anyway. We about to smoke some. Come back when you're ready. Diana comes to meet Tariq on the roof because she wants to get an appointment with Davis. Now, he's a high-powered attorney, so of course you're going to need a referral. And Tariq, he's in there. And Diana's saying, you owe me this because I held it down with Monet when it came to all that little sugar ordeal. So Tariq tells her, all right, I got you. At the same time, Tate calls. And he's like, hey, I got a place. This is where your sister's going to be located at. Now, while all this is going on, Lauren is coming up to the roof. And she passes by Diana. So she automatically thinks, Tariq, this is foul. You brought her up to the spot that I showed you. And of course, Tariq's phone goes off. What'd I say? Take it off of vibrate, put it on silent. Whenever Lauren comes around, that phone's going to ring. But it was really just Tate giving him the address. So he's telling Lauren, I want you to come with me so you can actually see what I've been doing. I haven't been blowing you off. He's pretty much covering himself. I haven't been blowing you off. I've been trying to get my sister. So now she's going to feel sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tariq. You had all this going on. And then he could finally get some. There's a lot of stuff going on. Mecca, he done took Monet on a helicopter ride. She looking out the window. Oh, I never done anything like this before. Man, you like 50, 60 years old. You ain't did nothing like this. That means the Tejada family, y'all ain't getting money. Something ain't adding up. You ain't never took a helicopter ride over New York City. Y'all ain't getting money. But anyway, he's in here. He's like, we could do so many things together. Whole time Zeke's in jail. He trying to call his auntie. Auntie, I'm at the 21st precinct. Please. I'm talking, I need your help bad. She's up here doing tours of the city, kissing all on Mecca, or Dante in her case. I'm like, dang, okay. Tariq has an address of where Yaz is at, and he takes Lauren with her so she can see what he's going through. Now they sit down, they start playing games. They still have Yasmin acting like she's 4 or 5 years old. This kid's like 9 years old. Oh, Tariq, that's a bear. Oh, thanks. So she's playing a game with Lauren and they're just talking back and forth. And Tariq is trying to keep her hopes up and saying, hey, I'm going to get you out of here. You're going to be able to stay with me. So Yasmin, she's excited. She's like, is Lauren your girlfriend? Tariq's like, oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that right now. But I'm going to do my best to get you to stay with me. She's like, oh, Lauren can come visit and mom can come visit. Tariq, he hasn't told her. Well, she probably wouldn't understand that she's in protective custody. But he's saying, look, I gave you this bear, so I'm going to be here with you. So he's working. He's doing everything he can to get gas out the system. Just like that, finally, Tariq gets some. Turn that phone off. Go to the room. Don't go to no roof. Don't go to no bonfire. Don't go do none of the extra stuff. Go to the room. Get consent. And make it happen. Tariq in here laid up thinking life is sweet. Finally, whew, got that off my checklist. Phone ain't on silent. It's the rest of Zeke. So he hops up and Lauren's like, oh yeah, I know. He's saying, you didn't tell me this? Well, we know half of his acceptance is tutoring Zeke and making sure that his grades are good. And also, if Monet finds out that Tariq wasn't watching him and doing what he's supposed to do, that's the street stuff and the school stuff. So Lauren, she's sitting there, well, you just had so much. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm going to go handle it. She's asking, is there anything I can do? If there was something you could do, I would have been done to ask, hey, why don't you go get Zeke out of jail for me? There's nothing you can do, Lauren. Just lay there. Go take a shower. Do something. Monet gets off the helicopter, gets the voicemail. She got to dip down. I'm talking about we getting through New York streets. We get down to the precinct and Zeke's in here doing exactly what I said he was going to do. Exactly what you guys said he was going to do. He's going to talk. He's going to tell. He's going to mess things up. He gives Detective Kevin Ramirez's card. Officer Ramirez is dead. So he's like, when'd you get this card? When'd you get it? Did you get it directly from him? Zeke's like, yeah, I got it from a game. He gave it to me in case I ever got jammed up. So now Detective Kevin has more things. Okay. Ezekiel knows Ramirez. His aunt busts in. I don't know who she's in, and she's going off. Okay, we starting to connect the dots here. Uh-oh. The Tejada family, they about to have some smoke on their head. Tariq called Davis and said, hey, I need you to handle something. He goes up there to defend Ezekiel. Now, Monet, she's upset because, you don't talk to the police. No matter what you do, you don't talk to them. Davis is say, hey, there's a lot of reporters outside. I'll go handle them. You go out the back door. So Monet is looking at it like, we still got to be low key, because with all these eyes on Zeke, people going to start digging up. Who is this auntie with all the fur? You remember how Frank Lucas got caught up? He wore that big ass mink to that boxing fight. You too flashy. I said it in other episodes. Y'all wearing all this Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Burberry. You're doing too much. Because now they're going to be looking, who is this black lady that doesn't have a job listed, owns a bar that's closed and shot up, husband's in prison, wearing this mink, coming into the precinct talking all of this. So Davis, he's here, and we know he can clean some things up. The family is messed up, and this means power is about to get good, because Zeke, he's actually sticking up for himself. He's telling Monet, Carrie used to mess with Jabari, and Monet's like, you got caught up with some community pussy? He's like, yeah, man, but it is what it is. And then she's saying, when aren't you telling me? He's like, I gave Ramirez's card to him. Now, he doesn't know that Ramirez is dead. All he knows is my aunt gave me this card and said, if I ever get in trouble, use it. So she's like, well, she doesn't say he's dead, but she's like, well, and Zeke actually stands up to Monet and says, you said you had my best interest. You don't tell me anything. If he would have known that Ramirez was dead, he would have gave up the card. Now he's into a situation with a dead cop, messing with a woman that allegedly killed a man. This is 2 murders on this young man, and he just declared for the draft. Monet really messed this one up. I'm gonna have to reorder the worst moms in the Power universe, because Monet, you taking that #1 spot right about now. Kane's putting a plan in effect. He's meeting up with Brayden to get the money that they owe. And what he's doing is getting in his head, trying to separate him away from Tariq. How he's doing it is saying, oh, tell your boss you did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Brayden's like, that's not my boss. We work together. We get money together. It's 50-50. He's like, oh, that's why you out here and Tariq is nowhere to be found. He's like, oh, man, it is what it is. Now, Kane is telling him, look, you can come get some money with me. He's just trying to fill his head with some things to try to get Brayden to roll with him. And Brayden is like, oh, man, I'm 8,000 short. Kane says, man, that's lunch money. That ain't nothing there. You run with me tonight, we make that bread back real easily. And you say you in the streets, you say you doing your thing, Brayden. Roll with me. When he hops in the car with him, I'm thinking, he got a Benz. Why can't he just follow you? I'm not leaving my car in this graffiti drawn area. But he gets a text message from Monet at 911 because it's a family emergency. So he tells Brayden to get out. And he's like, man, what? You just told me we gonna roll. Kane tells him, I'm gonna hit you back. I got some stuff to do though. Before he leaves, Brayden still gotta make that 8 bands. He still gotta drop this money off. So he goes up to Kane's truck. He's like, hey bro, I need this by 10 a.m. Not a minute later, man. Don't mess me over. Kane looks at him like, nigga, who are you to be making any kind of demands? Get the fuck out the way, Brayden. Family meeting. Everybody down here. Monet talking about Zeke is upstairs resting. Resting? The nigga wasn't doing nothing but in there snitching. He don't need no rest. He need to get down here and help the family figure this stuff out. But Monet is upset. And she's telling Kane, if this murder comes back, no one's going to be able to save him. You did this, it's going to be on you. Now, she ends up going upstairs because she's like, I got to figure it out. Kane, you always mess things up. Kane and the siblings, they're all talking. And Diana's saying, yeah, Monet is mad because she's the one that gave Zeke the card. So Kane's like, she trying to pin this on me and she the one that did this. But now they're trying to figure out where Monet was because Drew said she wasn't here. She got the phone call, but it wasn't at the house. She was out and about with Dante. They just don't know it. And you know Diana, she's piecing things together about what her mom is doing. Kane drove all the way up to Stansfield just to punch Tariq in his stuff about his cousin Zeke. And he's tripping out. He's like, man, Zeke was in there all night. You supposed to be watching him. When you told on the professor, you told on Zeke. Tariq is like, I didn't know your cousin was having sex with the professor. How was I supposed to know that? Plus, I sent y'all a lawyer to try to handle this. The reason that Kane is acting the way he is because it'll be 2 bodies on Zeke right now. Ezekiel will have Ramirez because he had the card. Then he's messing with Carrie, who allegedly killed Jabari. So Kane, He knows that he was in on both of them. And if it ever comes out what really happened, it's going to come on Kane. So he's nervous right now. And he's trying to figure things out. He's telling Tariq nobody is safe, including you, because he's saying all of this is going to come down to Tariq. In reality, one body for sure is going to come down to you. And then two, Tariq's been working with Davis. So if anything, they can shift all the blame onto you because he's a little more into debt to Davis than you are. Diana does exactly what I was saying she was going to do with Tariq. She goes to meet with Davis to try to figure out how to get her dad out. Now, what Davis does is he takes the nice guy approach. He's looking at it and he's telling her sometimes these cases you can get around it. But in most times, like something this serious, we might not be able to do anything. Sachs, on the other hand, he used to be at the FBI. So he's looking at it. Oh, no, there ain't no way we getting them about it here. So Diana says, all right, just contact me. Do not let my mom know. Now, when she leaves, Sachs and Davis have a disagreement. Davis is all about the money. It's business. Nothing more, nothing less. What Sachs is saying is if he gets out, he's just going to go back on the streets and do what he's doing. And Davis says, yeah, he'll be a repeat client. He's just going to get in more trouble. He's going to come back. Davis is all about that money. Brayden is getting a text message from Tariq. We need that money. We need it ASAP. He's waiting on Kane to pull up. And guess what? Kane pulls up with the two young ladies from the party at Mecca's house. He's still trying to get Brayden to come along and roll with him. So he has the money and he gives him more than $8,000. And Brayden is like, man, the streets is really where it's at. See, Brayden is starting to see this fast, quick money, this lifestyle, the women, the money, the clothes, the cars. For a young man at 18 years old, it's hard to turn down. So what he says is, nah, I got to hit Tariq up. And he actually turns this opportunity down. He does take some of that money and give it to the girl in the backseat, thinking, I'm in love with you. Get you something. My name is Brayden. So right now, Kane's plan is working. You just keep doing this, throw a little bit of money in his face. He'll eventually come through. Cooper Sachs, one of my favorite characters. He's over here messing with Jenny again. You know she's a prosecutor. He's not supposed to do this since he's a defense lawyer. This is conflict of interest. Now she's asking him what he has going on, and he brings up the Lorenzo Tejada case. She's like, oh, that guy, the manslaughter? Well, she also brings up a guy named Walt. Now, Walt is a guy that was tampering with evidence. He helped put Tejada in jail. So you see the text message from Sachs to Davis. We can get Lorenzo out of prison. And the reason they're doing this is because Davis wants that money. And now we figured out that we had a dirty prosecutor. Oh yeah, we can get this case thrown on out. Brayden finally makes it upstairs with that $30,000. And Tariq, he's kind of hard on him. Man, you gotta get on time to these kind of appointments. Brayden's like, hey bro, I made it, man. Tariq's saying, I gotta be able to trust you with this. And now he's starting to see, okay, you are trying to treat me like a boss. And then he starts bringing up diversifying the drug game and going to the streets. And Tariq keeps telling them, we not messing with Kane in these streets. Hopefully Brayden pays attention. Now, the reason they had that money is because he's trying to start up that private organization where he can get a steady check coming in. Now, we need Brayden to actually sign and be the president. And the last thing we see is Brayden signing it and then the camera zooming in on Tariq. So it's like, okay, what are we actually going to do with this? Is Brayden going to really be in charge of anything, or did he just sign his stuff? And is this going to make him and Tariq grow apart? There you go, episode 3 of Power Book 2. Let me know what you think about the big situation with Detective Kevin, Zeke, and Monet. Do you think he's about to do a lot of investigating into Zeke and whoever this lady was? I guess it's his auntie, Monet Tejada, married to Lorenzo Tejada, that came in here with a mink on, cussing us out? Do you think he's going to dig deep into this? Let me know. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you tune in Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for a 2-hour after show discussion about Power Book 2. Thanks for watching.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.